about the Quick Lane Bowl, really focusing on New Mexico State, which it was encouraging fans to purchase tickets. And it wasn't so much about purchasing tickets. Obviously, you want to support your team, but a lot of it would maybe be at the distance that a lot of fans wouldn't necessarily travel for a 6-6 Aggies team that was playing a 6-6 Bowling Green Falcons team, if you would, coming out of the MAC all the way in Detroit. So they were asking fans to support the team that did make a bowl and purchase tickets so they could donate them to Detroit area youth. That's a great thing for the youth to get a chance to get out and see some college football. But I wanted to get into some of the money. When you talk about this particular matchup, when you see what was going on here, three things to know about the Bowling Green as they entering into at that time the Quick Lane Bowl, which was this past week, if you would, a week ago, I should say. The university closed travel cost them $400,000 travel to Detroit. When you talk about the Celebration Bowl, one thing is unique. You heard last year they got the deal with Delta actually flew the teams in there to Atlanta, and that was at no cost to the teams. So you didn't have to worry about that type of cost where you see it doing $400K for Detroit. And so some interesting things there when you think about it. But this is really it was interesting when I've seen this when you talk about these payouts. Because a lot of folks talk about $1 million, $2, $3 million payouts for these bowls. One thing people don't realize, a lot of times these bowls have a bigger number in there, but they'll charge you as you see for your travel, your hotel stay, food and things of that nature while you in there. They'll also charge you for the band in terms of the band and who you bring in there. They'll charge you a ticket price for the band members in the stand. And so the payout for the Quick Lane Bowl was $150K. Yeah, let me say that again. The payout for that bowl game was $150K, and which is why you see the fact that they were encouraging the fans to buy tickets, because this is where it can get a little benefit to the team. New Mexico State athletic director was quoted saying that the university will retain 100% of the revenue from the first 2,000 tickets it sells, 50% of the next 2,000 tickets, which by New Mexico wants its fan base to purchase all of these tickets, because if they did, they could recoup $420K in terms of what that means. So just to give you some indications of what's out there and why you really need to look at the contracts, or at least get some more information of some generalities of these various bowl games to get an understanding of what that looks like. So just on the surface, I'll go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of what that looks like when you see, especially some of these small bowls, in terms of what they bring to the table when you compare? Because a lot of folks will instantly go to the larger bowl games and say, hey, they're paying out this. And just so one of the things we always like to talk about only is the business side. So you see some of the numbers that go out there and get an understanding what that looks like. What are your thoughts?
Tremendously enlightening to really find out some of the ancillary costs. I think that those are things that you almost oftentimes take for granted, Dr. Gill, that you know, those the charging for the band and things of that nature. So you never sort of calculate those into what goes into the bigger picture. But it's fascinating to see the numbers finally, you know, out there for all of us to really grasp and understand, you know, what a jewel that you have within the Celebration Bowl, I think.
Yeah, and you see the numbers continue to move up, which always helps both in terms of attendance and the ratings, which is more powerful. So when you sit back in the table, it gives you a chance to continue to push for bigger payouts. Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of just getting a different framework of what the bowl landscape, how varied it can be at the time?
Yeah, you often wonder, you know, you look at all of the activities that take place, and then you look at, you know, who's transporting the group here, who's transporting the group here, who's paying for this dinner, who's providing gift baskets for the team. Those are all costs that are buried underneath the umbrella of the bowl costs. So, and you take that into consideration, and then you wonder, does the bowl game have the sustainability of growth and volume over the course of 3 to 5 years to kind of, eat a lot of those ancillary costs down, such as transportation costs, hotel costs, dining costs, their awards costs, or whatever. I think in some bowls, some of the bigger bowls, I think some of the players get gifts or whatever. You wonder where that's covered, what pot that's covered in.
Mhm.
So you get all those little, I guess, trinkets into that big basket of bowl costs. And then it gives you a different insight on, is this a viable bowl game? And like CB said, all that in consideration, it gives you more of an appreciation for not only the performance of the Celebration Bowl, but the growth that you've seen over the last 5-6 years.
One of the questions I always ask, I'm always curious when people work in sports. I always want to know, how did your love for sports begin?
That is a fantastic question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how I can pinpoint when the bug bit me, but
Mhm.
I always talk about in our house growing up, there was always a black and white picture of my mom's basketball team. And so I grew up knowing that she started as a freshman. She was also part of integrating a predominantly white school. And
Mhm.
so she would tell me about some of the struggles that were involved with that. And so I think that always I kind of wanted to make her proud. And I always felt like the bar, she never said that, but I always felt
Mhm.
like the bar was going to be starting as a freshman and doing those other things. Although I played softball in high school as well, basketball was my first love. And ironically, one of those things when you've looked at that something for so long, I did
Mhm.
start as a freshman. And one of
Okay.
my most favorite years of all in sports was that freshman year when I was allowed to play on the junior high team and the high school team. I grew up in a small Class B school, and so absolutely loved that year where I was playing basketball 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and like you said, you just wanted to make her proud, even though she never said it, but you was trying to
Right.
follow her footsteps, and that's pretty cool. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a Hall of Famer from your alma mater, with such honors as Player of the Week, OIC Scholar Athlete, OIC and District 9 All Conference teams, and Northwestern Ranger Queen. What amazing accomplishments. How, with basketball classes, possibly campaigning for Ranger Queen, how were you able to juggle all this and keep your GPA up?
Well, it's one of those things that I absolutely loved college, and some of my friends from the Baptist Student Union, they were my sponsoring group for Ranger Queen.
Okay.
They talked me
Mhm.
into it, and ironically, it's the first time that I learned that other people saw other people can see some things in yourself that you may not see at the time. I
Right.
never ever considered myself queen material at all, and I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it had some of my friends were like, "Hey, we'll help you with the posters. We'll help you. We'll back you. You can do this. Everybody knows you," but they didn't know me in that realm. And so I don't know. That was a very eye-opening and life-changing time for me as well.
Yeah.
So to be voted in by my peers at a PWI meant a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I
So
always saw myself just as, a jock, an athlete, a scholar. I did see those things as me, but a queen, I never saw that.
well, you're a queen, sister. That's for sure. You are amazing. Just, researching and reading your bio, I was like, wow, she is amazing. And that's why I'm so excited that you're our very first guest. Um, Eddie Rogers, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Langston in 1998. I believe 9 years after you graduated, or 8 or 9 years, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How was that moment for you to be honored in that way?
No one really prepares you. It's like when you're excited about it, and I was honored. My family was there to see me inducted, but I was not prepared for the rush of memories as you're getting ready to thank those that have played a part in your induction. I just saw the hours and hours outside playing on a grass court, the excitement.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College as we get ready for the second portion of our doubleheader between the Stillman Tigers and the Tornadoes of Talladega. I'm Mo Jordan. I'm here with the boss man. It's Roy Evans. And Roy, after seeing a pretty exciting game in that second half against the women, I'm ready to see what we got going on for the men's squad.
Mo, definitely. But you know, all of the things that we say, all of the things that we talk about, as we take a look around the entire arena, we're going to talk about its homecoming.
Yes, it is. Yes, as we take a look around there, you know, you see the Stillman team.
You see the Stillman team. We're getting ready. Well, actually, we're getting ready for the
national anthem. Getting ready to come on in just a second. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to continue to talk about that a little bit. We'll let them play the national anthem. Then we'll continue on with what's going on. But as you mentioned, yes, it's homecoming week. It's reunion week. It is senior day. I mean, you name it. They've got it going on. Campus has been packed. I wish I would have left a little bit earlier so I could have got here a little earlier. But, hey, you know, I learned my lesson in that situation. All in all, I guess when it's homecoming for an HBCU, all the rules just go out the window. You just need to leave to go there early.
Well, you know, and that's what I was going to say. You know, homecoming at an HBCU, there are very few things that compare to the feeling of family that you get. I don't care what campus you go to, especially if you've attended an HBCU and you go to someone else's homecoming. It is the same feeling that you get when you come home, and this is great to see the campus so thriving with people. And Mo, this is a beautiful campus.
It is.
This is a beautiful campus.
Very beautiful campus here in the city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's tucked off a little bit, but once you get over here and see the scenic views that I have going on, it is great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick pause.
No, we'll stay here and let the national anthem play, and I believe we'll have the young lady on camera.
And what a beautiful rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner as we honored America with the singing of the national anthem. So we're here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall for the season finale, regular season finale that is, for the Stillman Tigers as they take on, you could also basically say it, their new rivals from down I-20 in Talladega. Should be an exciting game between these two squads as, they recruit some of the same guys.
Oh, yeah.
They compete, obviously. And here's the scenario today for Stillman that we were just talking about. So right now, Stillman's in a 4-way tie for third place. It's between them, Life, Mobile, and Dalton State. So the scenario works like this. Life is playing Loyola today. Mobile and Dalton State are playing each other as we speak. So, best scenario, with a victory today for Stillman, they will finish in 4th place in the SSAC standings for the regular season as they get ready for the tournament. Worst case scenario, they finish in 6th place. But the best thing about the positioning they are in right now, Roy, is the fact that they will get that extra day of preparation and extra day to practice before the SSAC championships, which will take place down in Montgomery at the Crampton Bowl multiplex. They won't have to play on that Tuesday night,
which is always good when you get that extra day, as you talk about. That makes a huge difference. 1, it gives you an extra day of scouting. 2, it just gives you an extra day of rest to be able to get your mind right, to do the things that you want to do, and just enjoy the atmosphere of being able to be there, being in that top 6 where you don't have to do the play-ins and all of that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visitors, it'll be Jordan Crumbly, number 1. Number 2, Wilford Campbell, the 4th. Number 5, Trey Simmons, who I think would have the number 3, but they give him number 5 with a name like Trey. But, hey, I'm not the coach on that one. Number 10, Corey Sands, and number 14, Ethelbert Anum for the Stillman College Tigers. Number 1, Derek Finkley, one of the seniors playing in his final home game of his career. Number 4, Marcus Bates Jr. Number 10, Jamar Jackson. Number 23, Davion Davis, another one of those great seniors. And on the post play, it'll be number 24, Khalil Johnson. The last time we saw Khalil Johnson in action here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall, he and Bailey Talley put on a clinic in a double overtime victory over top 25 ranked Loyola. What a game that was, Roy. I wish you would have been here in person to check that one out.
I was.
Oh, you were. That's true. But you left early.
I did leave early. I did watch the rest of the broadcast, though, on the way. That was an amazing game. When we came in and you were watching that, that was just one of those situations where the Stillman Tigers were like, we will not be denied. We are going to be here. We are going to fight this through, and we are going to get it going. And, of course, that's what you want to do today on homecoming.
Correct.
Packed house, everything, and you're seeing all of the folks that are here as we get prepared to start this game.
Absolutely. Before we start the game and we get ready for the tip-off, I also want to say this. The senior day activities took place following the completion of the women's game. They were able to honor the senior women and the senior men. But I also thought it was a very kind gesture by the athletic department, especially the coaches, to present Dr. Cynthia Warwick with a personalized jersey for herself, as she will basically be attending her last homecoming as the president of Stillman College.
Yes, I believe she is headed out at the end of June. She will be the end of her tenure, but she has come here and done some great things at Stillman College. I know the family here is excited about what's happened and are looking forward to the next phase of what you've got going.
Absolutely. So the game gets started off with a three-pointer. Wilford Campbell from Atlanta, Georgia, knocking down that 3. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Dr. Cynthia Warwick later on, and we had a wonderful interview with her during the halftime of the women's game. You can go back and check that out right on the YouTube page for BCSN, which is my JPN1. On the other end, Derek Finkley's shot attempt is off the mark. Davion Dennis tries to put back the first time. He can't get it, but how about this? It's Marcus Bates Jr. with the rebound and the bucket, and he's got Stillman on the board. It's 3-2.
And right now, as I'm looking at what we have on the floor here, Stillman has a decided advantage in size and height. And I think that's going to be something that can make itself very useful to them. If you see the situation we just had on this thing, he was able to get 2 offensive rebounds and get that ball back in.
Easily. And, man, as I continue to look at these doors, there are more and more people coming in. I just don't know if we got enough seats up in here.
Listen, the fire marshal's hanging around somewhere.
Absolutely. And I guarantee you, wherever he's at, Coach Terrence Whittle will meet him right there at the door, and they're going to work something out.
Because it is homecoming.
Yes, it is. It is homecoming. I'm seeing a lot of Stillman College alumni shirts and sweaters. A lot of Greek paraphernalia going all the way around. Everyone is well represented. And just support-wise, Stillman is represented as well, especially on this final day. And, of course, this is the culmination of a week-long celebration at that. You know, I always ask coaches about the focus and mindset of keeping their guys focused on this week. Coach Aliko Dunk gave me a different perspective. He says, clearly, we've got to practice. But then he said this. He was like, I'm not going to tell my young ladies, don't enjoy the week, but I need you to give me 2 hours on Saturday of your best play as Khalil Johnson pulls up for 3 and knocks it down from downtown T-Town. Yeah, he said, give me your best 2 hours throughout the week, and then you can enjoy the rest of the week. All in all.
That's right.
So I can't knock him for that one. That was probably one of the best answers I've heard about, you know, preparation during homecoming week. Yeah, I usually hear the homecoming's for the fans, it's for the students, it's for the administration. It's not for you if you're a student athlete.
Yeah, and I've always thought that was a very difficult thing to try to push on young people, especially. You know, with everybody's back, the energy and the excitement that are on campus that comes along with homecoming, you can't tell them not to participate in that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, as a former student athlete at Southern University under Coach Pete Richardson with the Jaguars, he let us go to some events, and then after a certain point in time of the week, we got cut off for the rest of the events. So, for instance, I never went to one step show during homecoming week at Southern, like ever. So, and there's a shot clock violation. But, yeah, I never went to one homecoming step show like ever. So when people talk about, oh, you remember?
No, you don't.
I don't, because it was on a Friday. We went to the hotel on the Friday.
It was the Friday before the game.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So, you know, I saw some good concerts and I saw some good comedy shows. You know, some very great entertainers through the years. Just to think off the top of my head, the group 112, Crime Mob, Juvenile, well, being in South Louisiana, you know how huge that had to be.
Yeah.
Chrisette Michelle was another one. Plies, nice. Trey Songz. So, you know, I saw in my head, you know, fair share of good folks as Talladega is able to score via the floater right there off the glass. That'll be number 2, Wilfred Campbell, once again.
Right at the buzzer there. He was able to get in there quick enough and get that ball out of his hand.
Good court awareness in that situation as we have a whistle on the floor and a turnover by Stillman.
They called a charge. It looks like they called that one on Mr. Jackson.
Jamar Jackson, young man from out of Huntsville, Alabama. Got a chance to see him play on the prep level for a number of years. All right, check out Stillman doing a little half-court press. Don't really see this happen too much in the early stints of games for Coach Teasley, but I guess at this point in time, you got to throw some things at teams that they haven't seen throughout the year.
Yeah, doing some things differently as you get ready to go into tournament play.
Here's Trey Simmons. He'll get the screen coming around from Ethelbert Anum. He'll swing it back over to Campbell, and Campbell's going to be called for steps. Well, actually, before he's called for steps, he actually stepped out of bounds as well. They just called the first one. Because he definitely took that step before he actually went to dribble. On top of that, into the game, Brendan Langford Johnson now for Stillman. But yeah, Roy, other comedians, I know for sure I saw Corey Holcomb as one of our main guys for the comedic act. And there's a whole lot of other people. Stephen Brown, who has a connection to this area, as a matter of fact, was another one with his crazy tale. And there's a bucket right there by Stillman once again. And they're on top 7-5. So, yeah, always enjoyed the homecoming.
Jr. again.
Yes, it was. The hometown kid.
In the paint, man. Like I said, he can have a big day today looking at this Talladega team. Man.
Correct. Talladega has more of an athletic-sized group on the court. Here's a ball that gets tipped out off the miss. Last touch, though, by Stillman, so Talladega had no problem running it down. Campbell
reset the shot clock.
He did not, and there's going to be a shot clock violation right there. Campbell throws a up-in-air ball, doesn't hit anything, so shot clock violation. Stillman takes over 7-5. Bringing the ball up court is Derek Finkley, and man, I don't know what much more I can say about this young man from a good and positive standpoint all year long. He has been a leader on this team. He's been a catalyst. He's been a guy you could depend on when you needed him. We called a game in which he was actually out due to an undisclosed reason, and they missed him. on the game. I actually missed him on the broadcast because I was so used to calling his name.
Yeah. He is definitely a linchpin to this entire team. I was about to say offense, but I think just the functionality of what Coach Teasley wants to do is so easy as he steals the ball, steps into the passing lane. That should stay because he threw that off of the defender.
He did, yes. He is a great player on both sides of the ball. Dual way players they talk about. Comes up with the steal, comes up with the smarts to know, hey, let me throw it off for players. I'm going up but can't control a shot. And let's get it out of bounds, but let's keep the ball in our possession. So here we go. He's swinging around. Marcus Bates Jr. into the hands of Finkley. Langford Johnson over now to Jamar Jackson. Back out to Marcus Bates. 17 seconds to go on the shot clock. Bates tries the shot inside. He is off the mark. Rebound goes to Campbell. He's going to bring the ball up court for the Tornadoes.
Yeah, Marcus went up, I think, a little too soft on that one right now. Like I said, he has got to utilize his height and his strength on the interior.
Here's Corey Sands. He will. Here's Corey Sands. He will attempt a three-pointer. There's a long hassle for the rebound, and there's a little contact between number 1 Jordan Crumbly and Derek Finkley.
And it was incidental contact.
It was.
Definitely wasn't anything anyone tried to intentionally do. They were both going for the ball. That's what you want to see your
Absolutely.
players do.
Great hustle. So with that being said, Coach Teasley quickly gets Finkley to the bench, give him a little breather in that one.
Rest, yeah.
Now he's also over there talking to him, checking, making sure everything's A-okay. And then they'll discuss some more basketball after that. So into the game now for Finkley will be number 2, Devin Merriweather, another young man who has come into this program a few years ago and helped transcend this program to make it what it has become.
And just then, just kind of lost his handles there.
Yeah. Just as I talk so much good about him, he has a turnover, but it's A-okay. He will bounce back up from that. 14-16 to go in the half. Stillman on top, 7-5. It's homecoming here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, between these new rivals. Let's go ahead and just say that right now.
New conference rivals.
Correct.
Conference
these
rivals.
new conference rivals, these new HBCU Alabama rivals.
There you go.
We've got a jump ball scenario.
The way you want it written up.
Brendan Langford Johnson gets the tie up with Trey Simmons. Simmons, a freshman guard from out of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, he was definitely in there as he went up with that ball. Brendan was able to get his hands on the ball without getting a foul.
Yes, sir. Here's the inbounds goes to Anum. And
that's blocked.
Yes, it was. Ethelbert Anum tries to go up, but partially blocked, but it's going to be a foul.
Oh, they call that a foul.
They call it a foul,
no,
yes.
He got on ball from the backside, but we won't talk about that.
Ethelbert Anum, a young man from, get this, Carson, California.
Okay.
And if you thought that's the farthest place they went recruit, nope. They went to the Nassau Bahamas to get Corey Sands.
No. Castleburg, California is much further than the Bahamas. The Bahamas is an easy trip from Alabama. That's not that long. It's only what, 90 minutes from Miami, Palm Beach.
You're a Florida guy, so
yeah.
I'll go ahead and
take my word. Yeah,
take those words on that.
The Bahamas is not that far from Alabama. Less than a 2-hour plane ride.
Gotcha. Yeah. So he was able to make 1 of 2 free throws on that trip. 7-6. Tigers on top. 13:40 to go. We'll do a little scoreboard watching throughout the game as well to see how the likes of Dalton, Mobile, and Life do today in conference play. Here's a turnaround jumper right there by Khalil Johnson. He makes it look easy on the baseline with that bucket there, 9-6.
Smooth as butter.
We talked to Khalil during the women's game of the broadcast, and when I asked him about just prepping for this upcoming game, he was like, man, look, we've been doing this all season long. It's just a matter of just starting off quick, getting some shots to flow, and once we get into the flow, we can be A-okay and be good to get a W. Still been shooting the ball incredibly well so far early on in a 9-6 game. And how about this? Campbell dumps it off inside to Anum, and Anum beats the shot clock and gets the bucket to go. It's 9-8. Yeah. Stillman still back on top.
My apologies. Yeah, he was able to get that off really quickly, which was a good look for him. You know, and one of the things that I've noticed though about this Talladega team, they actually seem to like to play deep into the shot clock.
They really do, as a three-point attempt by Brennan Langford Johnson is off the mark. Rebound goes over to Javon Tatum. Tatum gets it over to Campbell, back into the hands of Tatum, over into the hands of Corey Sands. Now Trey Simmons has the rock, being guarded closely by Langford Johnson. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Khalil Johnson now guarding Corey Sands. Somehow Sands gets the ball off and gets it over to Tatum. Inside to Ainum once again. Nice dish to get it to Tatum. From Tatum to Ainum, and there's a score, and Dega now on top, 9-10. Well, excuse me, 10-9.
Yeah, and again, man, they are executing deep into the shot clock. That is a sign of a very disciplined team, though. They are definitely not helter-skelter. These shots they're getting are not random shots. They're not, rush last-minute shots. It's like these are the planned offensive plays that they're doing.
Absolutely. We've got an offensive foul on the play. Khalil Johnson tries to get a running floater. However, Talladega was there to defend it and draws the charge. Ball goes back over to Talladega. And looks like we have a media timeout, so let's take it with them. 11:28 to go in the first half. Talladega on top, 10-9. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
Hello and welcome back to Birthright Arena here on the campus of Stillman College. It's homecoming, everybody. Let's get shot. You're seeing shots of the crowd as we're getting ready to get this back in. They're all here. Look at all of the faces, all of the fans. Folks are doing their thing, and we are here at the broadcast. Mo, we're going to turn it back over to you as we continue to do this part of it.
Absolutely. And yes, if you have not made your way over here to Stillman College for this great game, you know what? Just stay where you're at and just enjoy the broadcast, because I don't think they're going to let anybody else into this gymnasium at this point in time. But we're back to the action here. It's 11:20 to go on the game clock. And Talladega hanging on to a 1-point lead early into the first half. Now into the game for Stillman. It's Bailey Talley. The last time we saw Bailey Talley, he had the game of his life, or the coming out party, whatever you want to say, against Loyola in a double overtime victory. And how about Talley disrupting the shot right there? Bring the ball down court. Here's Derek Finkley. Now into the hands of Devin Merriweather. Talley's going to come and set a screen. Now back in the hands of Finkley. Finkley with the crossover between his legs. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. Finkley's trying to get some space. He will throw it back out. Wide open three for Devin Merriweather, and it's good as he knocks it down from downtown T-Town.
Yes, sir. They are getting it in there. Mo, I'm going to give some kudos right now to this Talladega team. They are a defensive nightmare. They are not making it easy for Stillman to get off any shots, which is one of the things that we've noticed. Stillman has been very comfortable in games past getting off shots against anybody. They are making it extremely difficult and playing tight, tough defense on the ball handlers.
Correct. Javon Tatum with that last bucket to tie the ball game up at 12 apiece. No, you're absolutely right. They are playing it tight as Bailey comes up with a shot. His shot is off the mark. That is Bailey Talley. Misses his first shot attempt. Remains 12-12.
And you know, that last trip down on the offensive end, there were 3 Dega players boxing out Marcus Bates Jr. They are not going to want to let him get in on the board. They're going to try to keep him out of there.
And Bates does not see that often in the SSAC. at all when he goes up against any opponent. Checking in now for Talladega will be number 22, Timothy Moneyham, and he's from Birmingham. Moneyham from Birmingham. I didn't create it, but I will use it.
There you go.
Here's Merriweather. He's got the rock, gets it over to Derek Finkley. Finkley's going to get a screen from Marcus Bates Jr. Into the hands of Jamar Jackson. He'll try his hand at a three, and it's good. Jamar Jackson from downtown T-Town. 15-12 is your new score. Stillman out in front.
Taking the lead, but this is going to be a tight one. This is not – Dega did not come to roll over on homecoming.
Not at all. It's in the hands of Trey Simmons now. Here's Trey Simmons going to try to drive on Bailey Talley. He will kick it out to Corey Sands, and ball goes out of bounds. Looks like it's going to remain with Talladega. They've got 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, Roy. So it's got to be something that gets up quick. You can get about a dribble 2 or 3, but then a shot selection has to be made.
Yeah.
So here's a shot from the corner, and what a shot by Javon Tatum with a hand in his face.
Step inside of the line, so it's a 2-pointer.
He cuts the lead back down. He cuts Stillman's lead down to 1. Here's Merriweather with the pump fake inside the Bailey Talley, and Talley mishandles the ball. What a pass by Merriweather inside. I don't even think Talley was ready for that ball.
He was not, and that's one of the things is they tell you he committed one of the biggest sins. You're a big man. Keep the ball up high. Don't bring it down low, and especially not against this Dega team. They have active hands, and they are moving it.
Correct. Here's a three-point attempt by Corey Sands, and it is good. The young man from the Bahamas gives Dega a 17-15 lead. 8:04 to go in the first half. It's the regular season finale. It's the home finale. It's homecoming. It's the family reunion. It's everything you want here in a basketball game that culminates a wonderful week as Merriweather pulls up on the baseline and knocks down the bucket to tie the ball game up at 17 once again. Here comes Javon Tatum, rocking number 21. Into the hands of Corey Sands. Sands thought about a three, but he does not take it. Now we get it back over to Javon Tatum. Tatum's got 4 seconds to go on the shot clock. A three-pointer attempt. It goes up by Trey Simmons. It rims out. And we got a turnover following that missed shot.
Yes, that was number 5, Trey Simmons. He could not be. He stepped out of bounds, so he could not be the first person to touch the ball once it went back into play just then. And it's interesting to see the offense that Dega is playing right now, Mo. What they are doing is they are pulling Stillman's bigs away from the basket.
Correct.
And that's making it extremely difficult for them to defend the basket. I'm interested to see if we're going to get Coach Teasley to maybe say switch to a zone just to keep his guys in their spacing.
That's a good possibility, yeah, because when you take those big guys away from the basket, it makes it harder for them to crash the boards. Running a little pick and roll action now, back in the hands of Javon Tatum. Here's Moneyham. Gets it back over to Tatum. Tatum pulls up for 3, and his 3 is off the mark. There's a big rebound by Marcus Bates Jr., and he will be fouled by Moneyham on the floor.
But this is what he can do. They do not have anybody who size-wise can compete with Marcus Bates Jr. Not just size, height, but he has a good bit of girth and included in that height that helps him be strong on the boards, and don't have an answer for him.
Absolutely. Taking a look now at that defense that you were talking about for Talladega. They're basically in a 2-3 matchup zone as Devin Merriweather gets inside penetration, pulls up, and knocks down the jumper to give his team a 2-point lead. But yeah, they're in a 2-3 zone, but it's one of those matchup zones to where as soon as you can, they will try to double anyone up. Good steal by Khalil Johnson up to Merriweather, and on the play right there, Tamias Brand was not paying attention. Here's a three-point attempt by Talladega. Javon Tatum makes them pay.
When you are playing with these guards from Talladega, you have always got to be looking for the ball, especially when you're running the floor.
Absolutely. Talladega now back up on top 20-19. We're approaching the 5-minute mark in the first half.
I know Tobias Brands wishes he could have that one back again, because that was definitely our first highlight of the day.
Absolutely. Inside to Derek Finkley, and Finkley was able to bust up that defense and get a bucket. 21-20 is your score. Approaching the 5-minute mark to go. We are live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with some HBCU action in the SSAC. Anum will get it over to Tatum. Now back in the hands of Wilfred Campbell, who's back into the game. Going inside, and look at that block right there by Marcus Bates Jr. I mean, Ethelbert Inem tried him, but it just wasn't working.
Yeah, and they're going to have that all day. If he continues to go in there, that's what they're going to have.
All right, we've got a media timeout.
Donation to Stillman College.
Yes, sir. We have a wonderful donation during this media timeout. So
we'll leave this one here. This seems to be the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha is what it looks to be.
So I'm sure if Dr. Cavill is watching, he will be excited about this. So it looks like the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Epsilon New Alumni Endowment Fund, is presenting a $50,000 check to Stillman College today. So what a donation made by the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Even hear some of their younger brothers in the background too.
Yep, Epsilon New Alumni. You assume that is the chapter here at Stillman.
And they are making the check presentation to Stillman. And who's there to accept it? But none other than Dr. Cynthia Warwick.
Yeah.
Outgoing president of Stillman College. I admit, man, I'm gonna miss Dr. Warwick, being around, because like when you talk about someone who is always here at majority of the athletic events, that's her. That's her.
She was actually here during volleyball season as well.
So I mean, and, it just goes to show you, she's here for the students, no matter if you're just a student or a student athlete. And we recall back in the early portion of the season, she served as an honorary assistant coach.
Yeah.
And when I talked to her during the interview of the women's game, she told me that it was a fun experience. She got to hang around in the locker room as a three-point attempt is being put up right here by Tatum. It's off the mark. The rebound goes back out to the Tornadoes. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. I'll get back to the rest of that story in just a second as Corey Sands gives it back over to Tatum. And look at this. Moneynham can't complete the shot off the good dish. Ball will go right out of bounds. So, yeah, Dr. Warwick was telling me that she hung out with the team, gave a few, come on, girls, let's do better speeches. Then she went in the locker room, and apparently they told her, hey, coach, we need, like, additional mirrors or something here in the locker room. And she got it done.
There you go.
She got it done.
I say, like, when the president walks in, you better shoot your shot.
Exactly. And when I did ask her about to explain that, she was just like, it's just a matter of me knowing what they need, and sometimes you have to see it for yourself. And that's what she did. She was like, I want the young ladies to feel good and look good.
Yeah.
Totally understand in that situation. Here we go back up onto the broadcast as far as Talladega. They've got a 1-point deficit. Here's Campbell. Campbell is swinging around to Sands. Sands get it back over to Javon Tatum. Into the hands of Campbell. And Campbell will pull up for three and knock it down.
He pulled that one up from Bessemer.
Yeah, way downtown, man. He wasn't too far away from our broadcast booth when he actually knocked that one down. 23-21, Dega now up on top. Here's Derek Finkley, thought about a three-pointer. Finkley will take an extra step.
Yeah, foot slid when he kind of moved there.
Let's take a look at the three-point shooting percentages thus far. Stillman, 3 of 5 from downtown for 60%, while Talladega is 4 of 9 from downtown for 44%.
3:22 right here in the first half. Dega up by 2.
Dega trying to spoil things for Stillman's homecoming.
You know, I remember the first time that we did a Talladega broadcast, and we weren't familiar with doing any of them, and we were calling them Talladega.
Talladega.
And believe me,
oh, they let you know.
The tweets, the emails, and everything live on the broadcast, the comments, they got us straight quick.
Hey, and sometimes we need to know that.
Right. Yeah.
We need to know that. Working in the media and broadcast industry, we don't know how to say everything correctly.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes we do need the help. So appreciate those Talladega folks for letting us know that their name is not Talladega. Here's a drive right here by Campbell. He will kick it out to Tatum, and Tatum will knock down another 3, extending the Tornadoes' lead to 5.
Well, this Tornadoes team definitely, when you have a bunch of guards, you're going to have a bunch of shooters on your team normally.
Agreed. Talladega located along the I-20 corridor between Birmingham and the Georgia State line as Devin Merriweather knocks down a 3-pointer, making it a 2-point deficit. But yeah, Talladega on the I-20 corridor between Birmingham and the Georgia State line. And clearly, if you know anything about other sports, there's a pretty big raceway not too far away from the campus of Talladega, which is the Talladega Motor Speedway.
Yep, most definitely. But, you know, Mo, I'm wondering if we can officially say that they're on the I-4 corridor, the I-20 corridor, because I think it takes like 25, 30 minutes to get to campus off of 20. Once you turn off of 20, that's not right there, you know.
I get you.
When you look at Stillman is only 4 miles total off of 20, you know. Talladega, 25 or so.
I understand. It's similar to how Jacksonville State is. They say it's off of I-20, but you still got to go through Oxford and a few other places coming along there. So I get what you're saying.
But it is the closest highway.
Yes, sir.
It definitely is that. There's nothing else in that area other than the Speedway.
The Speedway.
That you can see from I-20.
Yes, you can. And we are in February, so in about 2 months, there's going to be one heck of a weekend going down for the spring race.
Okay.
I've been there a number of times, and it's an experience. Maybe not the HBCU experience, but it is an experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience that, I will say this, if you're not a NASCAR fan or have no idea what's going on, try to visit there at least one time in your lifetime, just to say you did it.
And I've heard that before. I actually lived in Orlando for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Never had an opportunity to go over to the Daytona Motor Speedway during race weekend.
And it's Daytona race weekend, as a matter of fact, which I was actually surprised about. I work for Fox Sports, and when I saw Daytona coming up, I'm like, wait a second. It's usually the last weekend of February, but apparently the NASCAR schedule got pushed up this year because it never coincides with NBA All-Star Weekend, but apparently it is this weekend.
Okay.
And we have an HBCU presence on NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll talk about that a little later on as we get under a minute here in Birthright Alumni Hall. Brendan Langford Johnson's 3-point attempt is well off the mark. Air ball.
Everything.
44 seconds to go. Talladega up 28-24 in front of a standing room only crowd inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. It's Mo Carter, it's Roy Evans on the broadcast. Regular season finale and homecoming for the Tigers. Here comes Campbell. Campbell will get it over to Moneyham. Into the hands of Tatum. Back over to Campbell. Campbell will try another 3, and it is good with Derek Finkley in his face.
That kid has ice water in his veins.
He really, really does. Oh! Look at that! Khalil Johnson says, I can match you with these 3-pointers. So here's a 3-point attempt at the buzzer by Tatum. It's off the mark, but man, what a 3-pointer by Khalil Johnson. As a matter of fact, Khalil got the ball. Finkley was like, hey, get it to me, bro. He was like, nah, I got this. And he literally hit it from one of the volleyball lines. going into the break. So right now at the half, it is Talladega leading Stillman by a score of 31-27. Let's take a look at the stats so far, Roy. At the end of the first half, Stillman is 11-20 from the field for 55%, while Talladega is 11-24 from the field for 45%. Three-pointers, it's Stillman 5 of 9, while Talladega is 6 of 13. Looking at your high score so far for Talladega, it's Javon Tatum. He's got 12 points for the Tornadoes. And we're still waiting for an update when it comes to the points situation for Stillman. But as we take a look at what's going on, let's show you what's going on right here at center court. And Dr. Cynthia Warwick is about to receive a lot of awards for her time and her efforts of being a great leader here on the campus of Stillman College. As we mentioned earlier, she will be retiring at the end of the term, school term. She's being joined by several distinguished alums. Hey, can we switch to that one? She's being honored by several distinguished alums, of course. You know, it just shows you the love that they have for Dr. Warwick and what she's been able to do these past 6 years, Roy.
It is. You know, I think Stillman may have been in a difficult way, we'll use that term, when she came in, and her job was to come in here and help get some things going, help revitalize the campus and the programs, and she has done that. We've heard a lot of great things from some of the coaches and folks that she's looking for. Had an opportunity to talk to some folks, and the only negative thing that I have heard from anyone about Dr. Warwick is the fact that she was not really entertaining the conversation about bringing football back. Unless they gave her 10 minutes. She said, you find me $10 million, we'll do it.
Absolutely. We know how expensive it can be to run a football program. And, you know, she's got to make smart decisions for the university. Of course, Dr. Warwick choosing to retire so she can relax and spend more time with her family, which includes her grandchildren. So I ain't mad at that for her saying that in that scenario. But, yeah, she has come in and she has done a wonderful job. And it comes to athletics. She is a huge supporter of athletic programs. She's also a huge supporter of HBCU League Pass Plus and the Black College Sports Network. She told me that she was tuned into that game last week all the way to the end in the double overtime, where she said she should have been asleep, but she was just so excited that she couldn't make this game, but she was going to tune in no matter what.
Okay.
So, yeah, she was very excited about that. In the meantime, it is homecoming, so here we go. We're taking a look now at the Royal Court for Stillman College here.
Detroit, Michigan, Miss Freshman, as we have two members of our crew from Detroit, Kim and Duke.
Miss Junior, Kayla Williams.
Miss Junior, Kayla Williams from Columbus, Mississippi. You're taking a look at her right now.
Miss Senior, Carly Irby from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Miss Senior, Carly Irby from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand and receive Miss Stillman and Mr. Stillman College 22-23.
All right, they're asking us. And we will stand as Mr. and Miss Stillman, along with Little Miss Stillman, are now being introduced to the crowd.
And at a young age, she has the wave down.
She does. So, with that being said, this is your Royal Court for Stillman. And clearly, these are young ladies and a young man that are selected by their peers to represent the university at several events throughout the entire school year.
Definitely. College queens and kings are major parts of the HBCU experience.
Agreed. They are major parts of the HBCU experience. Matter of fact, Mr. Stillman, I've seen him many days sitting right behind us during the broadcast in the student section. So this guy is always here.
I believe we're about to have another check presentation.
Hey, checks are good, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get all that on there. So we'll hang out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to recognize, ask each of them to stand who's present, the first inaugural class of the Stillman College Athletic Hall of Fame. 6 members of the Hall of Fame class of 2023.
All right, looks like they will be acknowledging the Athletic Hall of Fame members coming up.
Stillman College's winningest baseball coach with 387 wins and 16
Coach Crosby, the winningest baseball coach in history here for the school.
Mr. Chester Hightower, Jr., Stillman College class of 2013. And two-time
Chester Hightower is another one that is being introduced.
and 3-time NCAA Division II national qualifier. And Dr. Jamila McKinney Riley, a 2-sport scholar and athlete with more than 1,000.
Oh, okay. We thought they were coming up front, but apparently they just decided to let them stand where they were.
Absolutely. Let's give you the full information on this inaugural class. It includes 3 former student athletes and 3 championship coaches. The student athletes are selected by Jeffrey Henderson, men's track and field, Chester Hightower Jr. from men's track and field, and Dr. Jamila McKinnis Riley, women's volleyball and women's basketball. The coaches are Dr. Richard Cosby from baseball, Donnie Crawford from baseball, and William Riley from men's and women's tennis. And clearly, they were introduced in a special ceremony on yesterday at the Wynn Center at 8:30 a.m. to help celebrate homecoming week. And if you want more information on the Hall of Fame class for this year, just head over to GoStillman.com and check out the Hall of Fame tab on the sports website.
And right now, as I believe we're preparing to take a look at the Royal Court for Stillman as we are on our live stream, let the Royal Court say hello to all of the Stillman fans who are watching live.
Absolutely. Hey, Court, how y'all doing?
There you go.
Absolutely. So, lots of activities going on, man. It is homecoming here in the Birthright Alumni Hall and all across the campus of Stillman College. What an experience it has really been today. As I was talking about earlier, we were waiting for the updated stats, and it's Devin Merriweather for Stillman, who's the leading scorer for Stillman. He's got 10 points on the evening. He knocked down quite a few shots in that first half. So, Roy, as we get ready to roll into the second half very, very soon, I'd like for you to kind of talk about the progress of the support that BCSN along with HBCU League Pass has been making when it comes to our coverage, media-wise. We've been making strides, man.
Well, definitely have, man. It's been a great situation, and getting out and getting engaged just in what is HBCU sports and culture. As we've talked about many a times, we are in a position where this is our 25th anniversary. This year, August of this year will be the literal 25th year that we have been broadcasting and covering HBCU sports in the digital space. We were the first group to do live streaming of HBCU sports, and that's what we're looking forward to get ready to do. As, of course, with any HBCU situation in homecoming, you hear the band starting to crank up. Here, I've been wondering when this is going to start. Luckily, they are not behind us today, Mo.
Right.
And so we are looking forward.
Yeah, thankfully they are not behind us, but at the same
hear each other. So yeah, we're getting it together. Great shot there of the band here at Stillman College.
And the dance team is walking out right in front of them, so expect them to make some dazzling moves very, very soon. As they go right there.
Those are majorettes. Ready, there it is. We'll stay here, but we'll let you guys take a listen to what's going on. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do this, Mo. We're going to go ahead. Well, we were going to take a break, but we'll let the dance team come on in and let you guys get an opportunity to see the dance team.
So enjoy our halftime entertainment, and then we'll take a quick break and get you ready for the second half between Stillman and Talladega.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and sing. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit. TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one outpizzas the Hut.
It's like a loop machine.
I did want to talk a little bit about bowls, and people have asked questions about the Celebration Bowl in terms of the payout. What does that look like? Just to give you updates there, you're talking about $1.2 million payout in terms of the bowls that go to the conference. A percentage of that goes to the institution, depending on the split, 75-25 for the SWAC, 70-30 in terms of the MEAC, or that was the last percentage breakdown in terms of what that looks like. But I want to do a little comparison so you get a chance of what does that look like. Obviously, you have the major bowls, and you've seen what they do as they off the chart in terms of the New Year's Six, $14 million, significant type of money. But you see how long they've been in the business for the Rose Bowl, going back 100 years. In terms of what they do there and how they're tied into the CFP and how they have really engulfed all the money.
And welcome back to Birthright Hall here on the campus of Stillman College. We are getting ready for the second half. Talladega leads by the score of 31-27. Mo, let's talk right now about the Align for Life adjustments for the second half. I think what we need to see with our guys from Stillman is to get out and run. This is an up and down team. This is a team that likes to play above the rim and get out and make things happen on the offensive end that we haven't seen in this first half. There's been a tough defense, but that's what they're used to. So that's the first thing we want to see them get out and do. The other thing that they need to do is play inside out. Get into the bigs, man. Get the ball in there. These folks from Dega do not have the size to stand in with them. Get Mr. Bates in there. Get Khalil in the paint. Get Mr. Always forget his name.
Right here, Davion Dennis.
Davion Dennis, right. Get him in there and get him into the paint, man. These guys have a decided advantage. You have got to use that advantage in this game.
Correct. Now you go inside to Marcus Bates Jr. Instead, they will swing it on out, and there's a three-point attempt that goes up by Jamar Jackson. It hits the front iron, off the mark. Rebound goes over to Talladega. The Tornadoes on top, 31-27. Now, add to what you were also saying, too, Talladega is forcing Stillman to play their brand of basketball.
Yeah. Absolutely. They have definitely dictated the tempo. They've dictated the pace and everything about this game.
And we've got another bucket right here. Trey Simmons comes up with the bucket for Talladega, extends their lead, making it 33-27.
Ended the first half with buckets, and Mr. Simmons is coming in, continuing to add buckets.
Jamar Jackson going inside to Marcus Bates. Marcus Bates wants to go inside to Derek Finkley. Finkley goes up, under, and scores for the Tigers.
Nice up and under move by Mr. Finkley. Great pass from Mr. Bates, but they've got to get him down in that low block.
33-29 is your score. Dega on top. We're just starting the second half. Here inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. Hope you've been enjoying all the homecoming festivities we've had on hand. We've seen the Royal Court. We've seen the band. We've seen the baton. We've seen the dance team. And we've seen great blocks once we are back into action. Khalil Johnson's going to pull up for three. Misses the shot. Davion Dennis with the rebound and put back, but he cannot score on that one.
That was a pass. We're not going to give that as a shot for Khalil.
Okay. Let's see what
Khalil, we got your back on that one.
For sure, man. Just hopefully Chris doesn't put that in the stats either as a missed shot. Back on the other end. Here comes Crumbly. Crumbly will get it over to Sands. Sands takes a three-pointer. It's off the mark. There's a scramble for the ball at the bottom, and Stillman comes up with it. Khalil Johnson now has it up court. It's a 3-on-3 situation for Stillman. He'll kick it out to Davion Dennis for three. It's off the mark. But Johnson gets the rebound. Shot clock will reset. Back over to Jamar Jackson now. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. He'll get it over to Johnson. Johnson thought about a three-pointer. Here's the turnaround inside to Marcus Bates Jr. Nice dish. And Bates finishes with the bucket.
And this is what we're talking about. If you saw that set there, Khalil did not leave his feet to get 3 rebounds in a row.
He did not. So that's what you talked about and emphasized about the height advantage that Stillman has. They've got to take advantage of it, especially with guys like Khalil Johnson on the court, Marcus Bates Jr., and Davion Dennis. 33-31. Talladega has a 2-point lead. Anum will kick it over to Corey Sands, and Sands' three-pointer well off the mark. Here comes Jamar Jackson. Jackson gets it over to Finkley, over to Khalil Johnson. Here comes Johnson off the screen for Marcus Bates Jr., and he and Marcus Bates Jr. were not on the same page on that one. Johnson thought that Bates was going to roll towards the rim, coming off the pick and roll, but he did not.
Yeah, he was definitely looking for him, but that's one of those things that Marcus has to understand. He needs to. That is going to be open for him all day long. You run that high screen and then that man rolls down to the basket, is going to be open.
Here's Talladega on the offensive. Here comes Anum. Anum drives to the goal. He misses the shot, but there's going to be a whistle.
Yeah, they're going to give him a foul. He actually did get a little push off that time, so I believe it was actually
I think they're calling it on Khalil.
Khalil. I was about to call him Kyle, and I know that wasn't his name. So it was against Khalil. He did just kind of push him a little bit as he went up for that ball.
Absolutely. So at the line right now is Ethelbert Anum, young man from out of Carson, California. And for Anum, he knocks down the first free throw. He's a 60% free throw shooter on the year, Roy.
That's a player you don't mind having on the line.
Goes 2 for 2 in that situation. He extends the Dega lead to 4. The Tornadoes making their trip up a road and then across I-20 as Roy wants to explain it. So we will go with that. Here comes Finkley. Finkley will throw it over to Jamar Jackson. Wide open 3 in the corner, and it's good from downtown T-Town. That's Jamar Jackson. Jackson makes it a 1-point game with that 3-pointer. And that's what you talked about during the halftime adjustments, Roy, about playing your game instead of playing the opponent's game. On the other end, here comes Jordan Crumbly. Going inside, the ball is knocked away by Tobias Brand. Ball will remain in the possession of the Tornadoes. This homecoming crowd is practically a sellout inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. As Stillman comes up with a turnover, here Khalil Johnson lines up for 3, and he knocks it down. Khalil Johnson with another 3-point bucket.
Just like that, it's a 2-point lead for the Tigers.
Absolutely. Stillman back out in front for the first time since the first half. Stillman overplays the pass on that one. That was Khalil Johnson almost coming up with a steal. On the other end, how about the nice move inside by Trey Simmons, but he cannot complete the play. Stillman now takes over, moving from right to left on your TV screen. Another 3-point attempt by Khalil Johnson, but that one falls short. I think the crowd was getting ready to blow it out if he would have knocked that one down. You can kind of feel it just setting up, Roy.
Yeah, most definitely, man. They are, you know, again, but this is what I was talking about, getting back to their game, that up and down game, man. They can, granted, you've got a team that is fast, that can run with you, but they are not able to play with you guys above the rim.
Absolutely. There's a media timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. 14:55 to go. Tigers on top by 2. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients. Call T. Madden & Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half-pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one outpizzas the Hut.
And welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall. There you see some of the many fans that are in the crowd today. It is a packed house. Standing room only for today's homecoming game between Talladega and your Stillman College Tigers. It's an HBCU battle right here on HBCU League Pass Plus. Mo Carter and the boss man, Roy Evans, on the broadcast here today. Here comes Talladega now trying to either tie the ball game or take a lead with a 3. It'll be Campbell getting it over to Simmons into the hands of Crumbly. 7 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here comes Campbell. Thought about a 3 instead. He'll pull up, tries a floater. It's off the mark. Rebound appears to go to Finkley, but it looks like the ball gets knocked out of his hands. Last touch, though, by Stillman, so Talladega will keep the possession. And Roy, as I mentioned in the early portion of the broadcast, we will do some stat checking and stat watching for some other games as a three-point attempt is off the mark by Trey Simmons. Simmons will kick it out over to Corey Sands. Sands misses the bucket. Bailey Talley comes down with the big rebound. Here comes Derek Finkley. Finkley going through the lane, and he's going to be called for a charge. Finkley looking around like, come on, my defender was still moving. But they're going to get him for a charge. But Roy, as we told you before, we were going to do a little scoreboard watching because coming into today's game, Stillman, it was in a four-way tie for third place along the likes of Life, Mobile, and Dalton. Mobile and Dalton are playing each other as we speak. Right now, Life is actually leading Loyola at the half 37-32. So no matter what happens today, the best scenario for Stillman going into the SSAC tournament next week in Montgomery, Alabama, the best scenario they can have is finishing fourth. The worst scenario they can have is finishing sixth. So we will keep it updated with all these games. Another game that impacts this is actually Mobile against Dalton right now. Mobile leads Dalton 70-53 with about 2 minutes to go in that contest. So if Mobile wins that game, Stillman can finish no better than fourth place, primarily because Mobile has swept the season series with Stillman and would have the head-to-head tiebreaker for them. So we will keep you posted on how the rest of that goes. And man, we got so many other good things going on in the HBCU world, especially on the basketball court. As a matter of fact, in only a few minutes, my alma mater, Southern University, will take on arch rival Grambling at the NBA All-Star HBCU Classic, which is being played in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we are literally having a SWAC game featuring two of the longtime members that don't like each other on national television at the All-Star game. That's taking place today in a matter of minutes. You know, you can check that out after this game is over with. In the meantime, we're going to keep it locked here with this homecoming contest that we got between Dega and Stillman. Stillman on top 37-35, and Merriweather cannot make it 39-35. His shot rims out. Getting the rebound is Wilford Campbell. Kind of sounds like an old school name right there, Wilford Campbell. Don't judge me, everyone. I've been told I have an old soul.
Nothing wrong with that.
Here's a long two-pointer before the buzzer goes off with the shot clock, but Javon Tatum, and he knocks it down. He gives Dega the lead once again, 38-37. Can Stillman respond? Go inside to Bailey Talley. Talley, the turnaround jumper, and it's good for Bailey Talley, the young man from Covington, Louisiana. We saw Talley cut up last time he was playing on this floor.
Again, man, I have definitely want to commend Dega and their head coach, Danton Jackson. He is, I have never seen a team play this deep into the shot clock purposely and be that under control.
I mean, all they're doing is trying to control tempo.
Yeah.
And speaking of control, someone took control of the timeout, so we're going to take a media timeout with them. 11:48 to go. Tigers on top by 1. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and sing. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half-pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one outbeats the Hut.
And welcome back, everyone, to Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College. It's Stillman and Talladega in a tight one. You're taking a look at the the Talladega huddle right there. As you were giving props, Coach Danton Jackson is the head coach of Talladega. He's also the assistant athletic director for the Tornadoes. And, man, he's got about 30 years experience in college athletics. You look at him, he still looks like he's a young man.
He does. He does.
You know, he also played a major role during his time in the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference as well. A lot of accomplishments. Spent 22 years at Xavier in Louisiana, including 13 seasons as the head coach of the Gold Rush. Here's Bailey Talley. The ball gets knocked out of his hands and into the hands of Wilfred Campbell. Here comes Mr. Campbell. Campbell thought about taking it to the rack, and then he saw Davion Dennis. So they'll reset. Here comes Jordan Crumbly. He's got 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. Corey Sands now gets it inside to Campbell. Campbell throwing it back over to Crumbly. Crumbly thought about it. Back in the hands of Campbell. Campbell's going to launch a three and knocks it down. Talladega back on top by 2. And once again, it's a shot that did not get taken off until about 3 seconds to go on the shot clock. Talladega is doing their best to control tempo. And here's a shot attempt by Khalil Johnson. There was contact, but no call on the play. So Wilfred Campbell brings the ball back up court. Gets it over to Jordan Crumbly into the hands of Corey Sands. Now over back into the hands of Campbell. Campbell being guarded closely by Khalil Johnson. Now here's Sands. Sands pulls up for a jumper over Johnson, and it is good. 43-39 is your new score. Talladega extends their lead.
And just like that, we're at another break.
Yes, we are. So we'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
Think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35.
Yeah, no, I get it. Welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall. It's Stillman, it's Talladega, it's homecoming. We got 10 minutes to go in the second half. Talladega up 43-39. It's Mo Carter and Roy Evans here on your broadcast. Regular season finale between these two teams. Here's Devin Merriweather, rises and cannot connect. Derek Finkley tries to get the bucket, but he took a hard fall going down to the ground.
Yeah, that was a difficult one there. May have hit that tailbone.
Yes, he definitely was holding that tailbone for sure. But he gets up, shakes it off, gets it into the hands of Khalil Johnson. Johnson gets over to Jamar Jackson. Jackson with 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. Now they've got Devin Merriweather. They've got shooters all over this court for Stillman. The big question is who's going to be the one to get a bucket. Here's Derek Finkley. Finkley's got 3 seconds. He rises and misses. But, man, what acrobatic play right there by Jordan Bell. But Jordan Bell cannot control the rock as he goes up and loses it out of bounds. So here's our scenario, 9:27 to go in the second half. Talladega on top, 43-39. Stillman in a four-way tie for third place, but due to tiebreakers, the best they can finish is fourth place. But in order for them to even get that, they still have to win today. Right now, they trail the Tornadoes by 4. Here's Khalil Johnson on the offensive. Gets it over to Merriweather. Merriweather drives baseline. Tries to go inside the Jordan Bell. It's knocked away by Talladega. Picked up by Javon Tatum. He gets it over to Wilfred Campbell. Now here into the hands of Javon Tatum. Back in the hands of Campbell. Campbell with the punt fake. Back over to Tatum. Tatum thought about a three-pointer. They got 4 seconds to go. Campbell, no, it's Crumbly. He's got to get a three-pointer off, and he does. But time rolls out, and there's a missed shot. Finkley comes down with the rebound, and he'll be fouled by Crumbly. And look, we were talking about the head coach, Danton Jackson. He actually, even though he was at Xavier for many years, he actually has Alabama roots, as he spent many years as the assistant head coach at UAB. As Khalil Johnson knocks down the three from the corner, it is money. 43-42. Stillman down by 1. But yes, Coach Dan Jackson was actually at UAB for a number of years, right down the road in Birmingham. So he's in familiar territory. Nice dish inside, and Ainoma comes up with the bucket. 45-42.
They are finding these open spaces in the interior defense against Stillman, and that's how they are neutralizing the bigs.
Can Stillman respond? Finkley throws the ball away. Campbell comes up with a steal. He'll kick it out to Sands. Sands touches nothing.
NBA on that one, nothing but air.
And the crowd is letting him know that too. 7:15 to go in regulation. 45-42, Talladega on top of Stillman. You're watching HBCU basketball in the SSAC via Black College Sports Network and HBCU League Pass Plus. Here's a three-pointer by Jamar Jackson, and he is good from downtown T-Town. The Huntsville native ties the ball game up at 45 apiece. Can Talladega now respond? They'll get it over to Crumbly. Inside now they go to Adenham, and there's going to be a foul on the play. So heading to the line will be Ethelbert Adenham. You say Adenham, they say Unum. Husum Zeta, Husum Zata. Tomato, right?
Yeah, all of that.
He's a 60% free throw shooter on the year, Roy. So as we mentioned earlier, everyone, it's homecoming. It's the regular season finale. It's the home finale as Ainham knocks down one of 2 free throws to make it a 46-45 game. It's the final home contest for several Stillman College Tigers. But it's not the end of the season, because next week, Stillman will take their talents to the city of Montgomery. Look at that dish inside from Devin Merriweather to Jamar Jackson for the bucket. Tigers back on top. But Stillman will take their talents down to the city of Montgomery, Alabama's capital city, for the SSAC men's and women's basketball tournament.
You know, it's interesting, Mo, on that last play, Marcus Bates had inside position, and they were not seeing him, which I have a difficult time understanding how that happened. But he was there and he was open. He had direct path to the basket. They're really going to have to get into utilizing their big men in this game.
Yes, sir, they will. We've got a media timeout. Let's take it with them. 47-46 is your score. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado with a sophisticated high-tech interior.
Open the door.
It's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck. It was. Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loop machine.
I've already been pushing it.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Birthright Alumni Hall on the campus of Stillman College. It's Mo Carter, it's Roy Evans, it's Stillman, it is Talladega. 5:59 to go in regulation. As Stillman on top, 47-46, coming out of the timeout. Possession in favor of Talladega. So here we go. We are back in action on the inbounds. It's Campbell. He will get it over to Sands. Sands trying to go inside. Ball is stolen by Derek Finkley. Finkley will throw it over in the corner to Jamar Jackson for three. It is off the mark. Good shot by Jackson. He's hit a couple from that spot. He just could not hit that one on that last go-round.
And the problem with that offensive set, though, is nobody was in position for an offensive rebound.
Not at all. We've got a defensive foul. Looks like it's going to be on Finkley as he was trying to get past the screen. Finkley's going to take a quick breather. Brendan Lakeford Johnson's going to check in for him. Langford Johnson, young man from out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The land of 1,000 lakes.
5:37 remaining in the game. The Tigers lead 47-46.
Isn't like the birthplace of tall tales as well because of Paul Bunyan and the ox or something?
I have absolutely no clue.
Okay, maybe they just maybe I'm just a random weirdo that watched too much TV and learned some things. We'll get back to basketball action though. There was an air ball by Talladega. So Stillman's going to take over. Here comes Devin Merriweather bringing the ball up court. Moving from right to left on your television screen or your iPad or tablet or phone, wherever you're watching us. We appreciate you checking us in. Look at that nice dish from Merriweather to Jamar Jackson. Jackson scores the bucket. Extends the Tigers' lead to 3.
Mo, do you know what is being done differently now? The Tigers are not standing around on offense. They are moving and keeping motion on their offense, so that makes it extremely difficult for the Dega players to get in front of them and use that pressure defense.
Ainum's going to try to get a bucket, but he gets fouled in the process by Jackson. Now, that is the 17th foul for the Tigers, so every foul that is made by Stillman from here on out, Talladega's going to be heading to the free throw line.
In the bonus, these last 4 minutes, 46 seconds.
And Ainum misses the first one. Remember, he's only a 60% free throw shooter on the year, Roy. Second free throw attempt is up and it's good. 49-47. 4:45 to go. Score update. Loyola leads Life 56-50, which works out in the favor for Stillman with a victory today. Final score from Mobile. It is Mobile beating Dalton State 76-55. And here's a foul on the floor as Khalil Johnson was trying to make a move, but they're going to get Javon Tatum for the foul on the floor. Once again, scoreboard update. Mobile beating Dalton State 76-55. And Loyola is on top of Life 56-50 early portions of the second half. If all these scores stand, plus Stillman gets a victory, Stillman will have at least 4th place in the regular season standings and will head into the tournament as the 4th place team down in Montgomery, Alabama. Here's Khalil Johnson, the turnaround jumper, misses. The Marcus Bates mistimes his jump, so he cannot get the rebound. Instead, the rebound goes to Javon Tatum. And we got a whistle away from the ball. Going to be an offensive foul on Talladega. Stillman gets the rock back.
Mo, just to kind of let folks know, on the Black College Sports Network, there is another game happening right now, and it looks like it's actually about 19 seconds left in it. Benedict College over the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse, 59-65.
And clearly that game is going to also have implications in the SIAC as they get ready for their week-long tournament that's getting ready to come up. Here's Brendan Langford Johnson for 3. His shot's off the mark. It's going to be a loose ball foul. Looks like they're going to get Marcus Bates for the loose ball foul. Bates just talking to the official, just want to know, hey, what can I do better on the next time round? But yes, Morehouse and Benedict College, as you mentioned, coming down to the wire as they get ready for their contests and matchups. Wrapping up SIAC play next week, as a matter of fact, and then they'll have their week-long conference tournament on the campus of Savannah State University in Savannah, Georgia. At the free throw right now, at free throw line is Javon Tatum. He makes the front end of the 1-and-1. So it was an apparent violation, but then the official was saying, hey, that's on us. So we just keep on going. Javon Tatum, 65% free throw shooter. He goes 2 for 2. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor. Let's take it with them. 3:35 to go. We'll be right back on HBCU League Pass Plus.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients.
Call T. Madden & Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half-pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza the Hut.
And we're back at Birthright Alumni Hall. 3:35 to go. We got a tie ball game. It's 49 for Talladega, 49 for Stillman. As we go into the final minutes of this contest. And Roy, we were talking about some.
No, Mo, I don't know any of these dances that they do to these songs.
considering that I'm closer to the college age, I don't know many either. Most of the times I see them happen at sporting events. And I just wonder what else is going on. But look, speaking of the BCSN and HBCU League Pass family, Miles is also in competition today. They are taking on the Magicians from Lemoyne Owen right now in the first half. They trail the Magicians 24-16. Let's get back to action down the road on I-20.
Just a point, that Miles game has SIC implications as well.
Absolutely.
As Khalil gets the bucket, 2 points, gives us the 2-point lead.
And Stillman almost comes up with a steal, but they're saying last touch by Stillman and not Talladega. But yeah, you're absolutely right. In that SIAC West, Lemoyne, Owen, Miles, and Tuskegee all fighting for that top spot in the SIAC West.
We will be broadcasting from Miles this coming Monday.
As Miles gets ready to wrap up their season. And then they'll get ready for that big SIAC tournament. And when I mean big, I'm talking about like it starts at the beginning of 1 week and ends on the next week.
Yeah, actually, doesn't it go from Saturday to Sunday?
Yes, sir, it does. And how about that three-pointer right there by Wilfred Campbell? Campbell puts Talladega back on top, 52-51. Scoreboard watching, Mobile beats Dalton State. Marcus Bates Jr. goes to Dunk City with that bucket right there.
Hopefully we got that one on the replay.
53-52 is your score. Tigers on top.
Which is surprising that with 2 minutes left in the game, we get our first dunk from this Stillman team.
Absolutely. We've been seeing Stillman go to Dunk City in earlier contests throughout the year in the early parts of the game. But hey, I'll take it any day in that situation. Just Jordan Crumbly with the pump fake underneath, and man, he was a root going up against a bunch of trees, and somehow he scores that bucket.
You got it, yeah.
54-53, Talladega on top. 1 minute, 35 seconds to go in regulation. Tell me if we haven't seen this script before. And Jamar Jackson steps out of bounds. Turnover, Stillman. Talladega now with the ball and the lead. As we mentioned, Mobile beat Dalton State. So with that, Stillman can finish no better than 4th place in the conference standings as they get ready for the conference tournament next week in Montgomery. But they need a win to at least finish in 4th place. Here's Crumbly. Ball gets knocked out of his hands for a second. Here comes, gets it back over to Amon. Into the hands now of Javon Tatum. Tatum with the floater, and what a bucket right there by Tatum.
Wow, that was a nice one. He went up over the defenders there and was able to get that floater dropped in.
Correct. There's a timeout on the floor, but we're going to keep it with you on that. On that play right there, Tatum literally went up against a bunch of trees and scored again. Ice worn in his veins type play there.
Yeah, I believe they just changed it to a immediate timeout, but like you said, we can go ahead and stay here. With 1 minute, 3 seconds left, Dega is up by 3. This is going to be a critical time. If you're Coach Tinsley, what are you saying to your team, Mo?
First of all, you got to score. That's the first thing. We got to score. Whether we get a 3-pointer or a 2-pointer, you have to score. You have to keep this contest in a reachable mode, basically. So that means either you knock down a quick 2 to make it a 1-point game, or you go for the juggler and try to get a tie with a 3-pointer. They have the ability to do it from both sides, but it's going to have to be quick because we're only at 1 minute and 3 seconds left in regulation. Which is very interesting because last week on our last broadcast, when we took on Loyola, it was a different scenario. Loyola was the one that had the pressure on them with Stillman holding on to the late lead, and then we eventually went into overtime. I'm not saying I don't want overtime today, but I'd love to just see this thing end in regulation. But
we absolutely would, with the win for Stillman.
But at the same time, I'm not part of the contingent of the basketball gods, so I'm just a broadcaster. been a great set of games, though, between the women and now the men. We got 103 left in regulation. All right, so here comes Stillman. It'll be Derek Finkley. We're now under a minute to go. And remember, every foul from here on out for Stillman, in which they committed, Talladega is going to go to the free throw line. Here's Khalil Johnson. He'll pull up for three. His shot hits the front iron off the mark. Campbell comes up with the ball. And then he throws an elbow, inadvertent elbow, towards Jamar Jackson. Like I say, inadvertent. It wasn't, intentional. And then Jackson's going to have to foul him. I actually do like the shot that Khalil Johnson did take. He had separation from his defenders. He rose up high. He just could not knock down that bucket.
.2 seconds. Oh, and you were absolutely right. They needed to score on that possession.
Absolutely. At the free throw line right now, it's Wilford Campbell, the fourth. 80% free throw shooter. You do not want to put this man on the free throw line, and he just showed you why. He puts his team up now by 4. Regardless if he makes this next free throw or not, Stillman needs a bucket.
And they need a quick one.
Absolutely.
Because they've got to get 2 possessions out of this situation.
He does. Here comes Derek Finkley. And officials call a timeout to reset the shot clock. And they do. All right, we're just going to pretend like none of that action just happened. Here's Derek Finkley now. 33 seconds on the game clock, 26 on the shot clock. Finkley, he's got the ball, drives baseline, tries to get it over to Marcus Bates. He cannot. He's in the corner. He's got to do something.
They called a timeout.
Yes, we did get a timeout from Coach John Teasley. A lot of time on the clock rolled off, though, during that possession. I feel like, honestly, by the time they called that timeout, that's when they should have actually been getting up a shot. But they could not because of the pressure defense that was coming over from Talladega.
Yeah, most definitely. It was that situation. That defense has been there the entire game, though. This is what we've been talking about. That Talladega in-your-face pressure defense has been a problem for Stillman this entire game.
Agreed. Scoring update. Down in New Orleans, Loyola now leads Life 66-63. If Life is able to pull off the upset of Loyola, that means that the best that Stillman can finish is 5th place. If they lose, then Stillman will enter the SSAC tournament as the 6th seed. So taking the ball out underneath the basket will be Khalil Johnson. Once again, Roy, as I mentioned, following that free throw by Mr. Wilford Campbell IV. Following that free throw, Stillman needs a quick basket.
Yeah.
A quick basket.
Right. They cannot let more than 2 to 3 seconds go off the clock.
Not at all. Here comes the basket attempt by Jamar Jackson. It is off the mark. Talladega got to come up with the rebound, and now Stillman is forced to foul. Jackson put up an off-balance shot coming off of a double screen. And now Talladega's in the double bonus.
Yeah. At this point, if these 2 free throws are made, of course, that's going to put the game out of reach, as it'll be a 3-possession game with 14.8 seconds left. The good thing from what we've been hearing, though, with your stats, Mo, is that they can't finish any lower than 6th.
Correct.
So not finishing, that gives them the bye, that gives them the ability to still kind of rest, see what they were doing wrong in this game, and then be able to move it forward with the as they move into tournament play.
Jordan Crumbly coming up with the first free throw attempt. It is up and it is good. Crumbly, an 83% free throw shooter. So if Talladega needed anybody on the free throw line, it was him. Here comes Devin Merriweather. Merriweather's going to pull up for three. Misses the bucket. Rebound goes to Talladega, and they are going to run this clock out. And Talladega comes into Birthright Alumni Hall and pulls an upset over Stillman. Your final score, Talladega 60, Stillman 53. Talladega upset Stillman here on their homecoming evening inside of Birthright Alumni Hall. You got to give major props to Talladega for controlling the tempo of this contest and taking Stillman out of their game.
I believe we're getting ready for the customary prayer and then alma mater for Stillman. And then we'll see if we can get Coach Teasley over after that to talk with us.
Absolutely. Let's give you a rundown of some scoring right now from a stats perspective. Stillman, 22 of 46 from the field for 47%. Talladega, 19 of 44, from the field for 43%. Talladega knocked down 9 of 21 three-pointers, while Stillman knocked down 9 of 23. Stillman never went to the free throw line, Roy.
Wow.
They did not go to the free throw line at
something we just noticed.
At all. Talladega went to the free throw line 16 times and they made 13. They made 13 on today. So once again, your final score, it is Talladega 60, Stillman 53. We're live inside of Birthright Alumni Hall for homecoming. As we take a look at the band getting ready to play their alma mater, let's take a look at some of these final stats real quick. I just want to make sure I was not seeing things, and I am correct. Stillman did not attempt one free throw this entire game. Talk about the defensive magic that you had from Talladega.
Well, you know, not just the defensive magic from that, but what we're looking at, you guys, is a situation where they have
thank you, guys.
Where they have the opportunity. But this goes to what I was talking about. They were not going inside.
No, they weren't.
Had they gone inside, there would have been the opportunity to be able to get fouls, to get to the line. They didn't go inside to their bigs. There was no way that Dega should have been able to get in and control anything that was happening in the situation interior in the paint in this game.
Absolutely. You kind of take a look at the points. For instance, Khalil Johnson, 16 points, but majority of his shots that were made from the outside. Jamar Jackson, a lot of outside shooting. Devin Merriweather, a lot of outside shooting. Let's look at Marcus Bates, for example. 8 points total. They really found a way to just control that offense. And I say they, I'm talking about Talladega controlling the offense of one Stillman. And they spoiled homecoming.
Yeah, unfortunately, and got a chance to try to catch Coach Teasley, and right now it's just not going to be a good time to talk to Coach Teasley, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of give the final stats and you head on out.
Absolutely. So let's kind of run over the final stats once again. We talked about Stillman. Stillman was 22 of 46 from the field for 47%. And then for Talladega, they were 19 of 44 from the field. 19 of 44 from the field for 43%. Talladega knocked down 9 of 21 three-point shots, while Stillman knocked down 9 of 23 from three-point range. The telling stat, though, Stillman, 0 attempts from the free throw line, while Talladega was 13 of 16 from the free throw line. The leading scorers for Talladega, Javon Tatum, 22 points. Wilbur Campbell, the fourth, 16 points. So when we take a look at that, it's a loss today. It's 60 to 53 your final score. So with the loss, that means that, they're going to be the 6th seed at least down in Montgomery. clearly it's not the game that Coach Teasley and company wanted to happen or whatever, but they're going to have to shake it off and then get ready for the SSAC tournament where it's a true win-or-go-home scenario next week in Montgomery.
Yeah. Well, Mo, definitely as we look at this whole situation and the things that are going on, again, no free throw attempts with players like Khalil, with players like Bates in here against teams and players that are 3 to 5 inches shorter than them. They would have had no choice, so I'm sure that's one of the things that Coach is getting on his guys about. But we're going to see, we wish them the best down at the SAC tournament coming up in Montgomery. And, we hope our Tigers come out on top at that point.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, clearly we want to just say thank you to all the work you have been able to do, especially making all this happen with BCSN and HBCU League Pass Plus. As we get ready to kind of transition into baseball season, you kind of let some of the folks know what to expect as you roll into those spring sports. And then we got some good summer things coming up too.
We do. We're still going to continue, of course, with baseball and softball. We got our schedule coming up with our partners who are doing all of this stuff. Miles, Morehouse, Benedict, Payne, Stillman. We will be doing these games, getting everybody in touch. Make sure that you stay in touch. Check us out. You can go to mybcsn.net, see all the games there. HBCU League Pass Plus. All of the content will be there. And, of course, we'll be moving into it and getting ready for the fall, of course, as we go into the summer and moving things around. Again, we start off preparing to celebrate our 25th anniversary of HBCU sports streaming on the internet.
Absolutely, and here's another thing too. You forgot to add this as well. Go to MyJBN1 on YouTube to watch any of the old games that have aired on the season this past year. All right, everyone, we want to thank you for joining us here on HBCU League Pass Plus and the Black College Sports Network. For Roy Evans and the rest of the crew, I'm Mo Carter. Have yourself a great rest of the evening, a great night, and look, we'll see you next time.
Happy homecoming, Stillman.